Hello. Peace, peace, peace. Peace be with you. Welcome to this beautiful Saturday. This Saturday YouTube live stream. Welcome to this time. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Everyone's doing nifty. Let's see, what emoji do we put in the chat? Got my emoji, which is the dream on emoji. And then got, I like this one. This one's one of my favorites. Yo, Entity, how you doing? Thank you very much for joining the stream. How are you? How are you doing on this lovely fine Saturday? How do you find yourself? Is that a speak? Oh no. Oh, I thought that was a megaphone. It's someone in something. Hello, Tozak. Ronan. Yo. I don't know. Have you ever joined the streams before? Wow. How are you? How are you? I've been doing well. I've been doing good. I'm happy to see you. Happy to see someone from the Discord. Thank you very much for joining. How are you, Ronan? Hello, Kurt. Hello, AI. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Thank you very much for joining the stream. How are you? How are you today? How do you find yourselves? Hey, yo, dog. Hope you're well. Hope you're well too, dog. Much love, Kurt. Much love. Hello, Tommy. Been so long after the last stream. When was last stream? It was just last week, right? Just a week ago. We're taking our space, getting to work, living life, making memories, feeling things. I'm happy to see you here. Thank you very much for joining the stream, AI. Is it AI? How do you pronounce it? Is it AI or A? I want to share some things from this book. I don't know if you guys know this book, Awaken the Giant Within. I don't even know what I'm going to share, but it's in my bedroom, and I just felt called to look through it and bring up some things that I've highlighted. What I like to do is when I read a book, I haven't read the whole thing, only the first few chapters, but I like to take notes. Oh gosh. And can't even, how do I properly flip this? Okay. Yeah, there's some things that I want to share. Awaken the Giant Within. Tony Robbins is who is he? What is he? How do you identify? How do you label him? He's a human being who shares a lot of great stuff to help you change and do great things. I don't know how to define what Tony Robbins does exactly, but he's like, he helps you make transformations, and this is a really great one of his early books, and there's a lot of great things in it, a lot of tidbits of wisdom that helps me as a creative, me as a big dreamer, actualize my dreams, actualize my goals, and develop certain practices and habits that help me to see my visions through. Because I like to say that as artists, we have our heads in the clouds, we got to keep our feet on the ground to do the work. It's that balance. It's the yin and it's the yang. All right. You've been cooking, Kurt? That's awesome. That's amazing. You've been cooking. Yeah, I find that when I cook, I feel like I'm living in alignment. And living in alignment is just this feeling of you're doing the things that you should be doing. And it's like, wow, things feel, it's like, even though you're busier and you're taking on more work, it's like things feel lighter in a weird way. Because there's not that stress, or there's not that thought looming over, that cloud of you should be really working on this, or you gotta be doing this thing. But it's nice, and you do it and it feels fulfilling and it's fun. You gotta get the cooking. You gotta get the cooking done. Whipping up the brownies, whipping up the pasta. Been hanging in there, brother. Been studying the Sengaku Jidai for the past 2 days. Oh, what is that? I've never heard of that. Holy heck, I may have peeked into a stream or two on rare occasion, keeping me out of depression. Oh, wow. Beautiful. I'm happy to have you here, Ronan. Obviously, your presence in the Discord is monumental. It's incredible. All the love that you share and all the conversing that we do in there. It's a lot of fun. If you guys want to check out the Discord, you can check out the Patreon, which is a link in the description of all of my YouTube videos. But thank you very much, Ronan. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for all of your love and all of the energy that you give us. And the Sengaku Jidai, I don't know if I've heard of that. I'll have to look into that. What is that exactly? Entity doing good, working on a story for my 2D animation series. Ooh, really inspired because of you. Oh, that means a lot. I'm happy that you are inspired by me and the content, my words, and the videos are meant to find you for a reason. Trust the reasons, trust the ideas that you get from the soul inspiration, from the soul mixing, from the experience. Exercising again, nice. Studying stuff, praying, oh, that's good, etc. Did my morning ritual this morning, nice. I didn't get into Tony Robbins a lot more. Yeah, Tony Robbins is great. Tony Robbins talks about a lot of morning, like routine stuff, ritual stuff. That's great, man. It's the basics are a beautiful thing. The basics of taking care of the mind, body, soul. The basics are beautiful because it's simple things that work. What's beautiful is that the simplicity, sometimes it's the simplicity of certain activities that really show us how powerful we are. For example, the simplicity of returning to yourself, the simplicity of taking breaths, connecting to your body, simplicity of taking away things, taking away the noise, taking away things that don't serve you, and not necessarily even replacing them with something else, just taking them away, just so you are with yourself, whether that's a mindfulness activity or, again, like being conscious of your breath or exercising. Exercising is literally just connecting with your body, something that you already have. It's just you and yourself. And the simplicity of those activities are indicators of how powerful we are, because we're getting power from within. And isn't that an incredible thing? Right? It's not something like we pay all this money for. While we do have, while we can pay for certain things, whether it's courses or whether it's books or whether it's, other sources of information or physical resources that can help us do certain things, help us reach certain goals, or help us, try to achieve something, anything. There's really nothing that could ever replace the simplicity of you and yourself. Answers within, the feeling of your body, returning to yourself. And that's why, again, it's just a reminder that you have the most powerful thing within. The most powerful thing that can help you is within. And I think it's a beautiful reminder, and it's beautifully encouraging, and very empowering. But yeah, the basics work. Basics work. Of that Leo hat, yep. We got to get I always misguess how I'm like leaning. Like I think I'm like here, and I think in order to get the line between my fingers, I like go this way, but it's opposite because if I put up if I put up this hand, it's the other side of the screen that is my hand going up. So this is like flipped for me. It's way more stressful not working at this point. Allowing myself rest too. Yeah, finding that balance. As long as you're being intentional. I mean, that's I find that when I'm in a productive flow, like the past few weeks, for example, as I've been in a very productive flow with my own work, I keep this idea in my head. It's the quote. I don't think it's from the Tao Te Ching. Oh, maybe it is, but it's in nature, it's something along the lines of, in nature nothing is rushed, yet everything is accomplished. So it's this feeling of like, yeah, like everything is accomplished. Nothing, like you don't have to rush through things. And I find that as long as I'm being intentional with my time, for the most part, and I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, if I don't get to all the work I plan to that day, or if I plan to do something at 2 or 3 p.m., but then my family's doing something that, I don't want to miss out on, I don't freak out about that. I go with the flow, and I trust that, I'm where I'm meant to be. And as long as as long as I'm being intentional, as long as I am put an effort into the things that I want to do, whatever gets done that day, it's easier for me to feel in harmony and feel in alignment with the unfolding of, you know, my path and the things I'm doing. Because it's different than, you know, you have maybe like certain free time, downtime, however much you have it throughout the day, right? We're all different. We all have different lives, different paths. Um, you know, if you're not utilizing that time in the best way, the way, you know, you should be doing, then it's harder. I found that it's harder to live in alignment and harmony with your path. Um, but if you're being intentional, as I found it, then I don't really stress that much over what's actually getting done. I trust that in nature, nothing is rushed, yet everything is accomplished. You know, so I'm not rushing from task to task. Like, oh, okay, I finished this. Now all right, now I gotta focus on this, you know, this content or this video, or this Notion thing. All right, I finished that. All right, let me get quickly. It's like, no, like I can calmly carry about the tasks throughout the day and not worry, you know, not worry. It's not even my name. It's my fave anime character's name. Ah, I see. Should probably just put my name instead. Oh, I mean, hey, you embody whatever, you channel whatever archetype you want. It's too long, so I never put it on the internet. Sorry. How dare you? No, don't be sorry. AI. So AII. What anime? You know, I wanted. Is Avatar Airbender, is that anime? Because I wanted to watch that. I was looking. My friend sent me some video on that. I've been wanting to watch that for a long time. Yeah, it seems beautiful metaphors, beautiful themes on like humanity, right? Our differences, but also like what we all share in common, and the unification of humanity that awaits. That awaits. Keyword awaits, right? Sending love and healing, Ronan. I struggled with depression for many years. Love that. Thank you, Kurt. We're all here to support each other, create a community. Community makes a difference. Yo, Tim, oi, oi. How are you doing, Tim? Thank you for joining the stream, broski. How are you on this Saturday? How are you chilling? How are you vibing? Hello, man. How you doing? Lakshaya? Waves, waves, waves. Thank you for joining. Defo Russian is such a spirit killer. Yeah. Yeah. Takes you out of the moment. Takes you out of the moment. And the moment is all there is. Can't believe I've been joining your streams for 6 months. That's incredible. Wow. It's an honor. The connection is here for a reason. Right? That time, you know, that connection with someone else doesn't just, you know, it has a purpose. It's an indicator of great things. Thank you for always joining the streams, Kurt. Time flies. Time flies. Time flies. That is true. It is true. When time flies, I think about the fact that, you know, the time now and the time in the future is also going to fly. And I'll be saying the same thing in the future. Never stop saying that. So, you know, it's like a reminder to live within a, you know, mental framework of how you'd be looking at this time in your life in the future. Just helps you slow down, right? Yeah, those are all things I've been contemplating. How I'm spending my time consciously and my awareness of things. Because I literally feel like every time I go into each day, I know that the day is already destined and planned. I was actually having this conversation with my mom last night. I was like, do we have free will? You know, do we have free will? And I ask myself that a lot because I just have so much trust in my own life and my own plan that I'm like, do I even have free will? You know, can I even change my destiny? And, you know, obviously it's a whole rabbit hole of a discussion. I mean, the Matrix movies are about that, the Matrix trilogy. That's why I love those movies so much. But she said something really interesting that I've been reflecting on, and I'm going to keep reflecting on it, which is like, you know, maybe we're left with certain options at certain moments, and no matter what we choose is you know, life makes it so that we believe that was the one we were meant to choose, but we still have a choice, so free will. It's I like thinking about it that way. Just it's fascinating. But yeah, even if you don't believe that, I think it's worth engaging the creative imagination to to imagine and to project a way of alignment, a way of design over your life, a higher design. And yeah, just looking at things as things working, as things happening for you and not to you. Things are happening for you, things are not happening to you. 31st stream, crazy, I know. 31st stream is insane. It is actually pretty crazy. It's a lot. It's a lot of streams, a lot of time. A lot of time. Content has inspired me a lot. Thanks, man. Oh, I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for expressing that. I'm honored. Truly, truly honored. I put a lot of heart and soul and time and effort into the videos, and the fact that it helps makes it all worth it. Makes it all worth it. It's great. Thank you for supporting. Did you check out the episode Quilla Rift? Yes, I did. I forgot to tell you, Tim. Yes. Aquila Rift, Beyond the Aquila Rift episode of Love and Robots. I did check it out, and yeah, I mean, it confirmed a lot of it confirmed things in my script for sure. Yeah, and I can see why you recommended it when I explained my script. Yeah, it's definitely yeah, I was making the connections. I saw at the end of the last stream you said Cloud was yours and your mom's favorite was Final Fantasy VII. He's a cutie. Yeah, Cloud is my favorite. I think Cloud's my mom's favorite as well. Cloud is incredible. One of the best character designs I've ever seen. And again, I mained him in Smash, so gotta love my boy Cloud. Can you recommend some books for artists? Ooh, nice. So actually, first I'll answer your question, then I'll go into this. I want to go into just some points. Awaken the Giant Within. I think that if that stuck out to me, resonated with me, and maybe they'll resonate with you guys. But I have recommended a book before on my channel. It's called Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be by Stephen Pressfield. Stephen Pressfield is an author. He also talks about the creative process a lot. He talks about this idea called resistance with a capital R. And resistance always finds its way into your work, between you and the work, and it's this challenge that you always have to overcome. And the question isn't whether or not resistance will come. The question is whether or not you will overcome it. He's a great author. He has a lot of books on like motivation and just talking about the creative process. A lot of books that can help artists. But that book, specifically, Put Your Ass Where Your Heart Wants to Be, is a really great one because it's like each chapter is just a page long. Some chapters are just actually not some. There's like maybe a couple that are literally just one sentence long, but it's almost like a journal entry, and it's a nice like tidbit of like either wisdom or just a little story or something that to encourage you in your creative process, and it's really nice. And I would recommend that because sometimes it's that helps a lot, in the moment, just the simple things. He's very wise. He's very, very wise. But I would say, yeah, and really any other book, Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield. I haven't read it, but a lot of things I've read about it really resonate with me. Turning Pro, which is like, don't wait until you get that perfect career opportunity or land that perfect job in order to take your craft seriously. Imagine that you already have that job that you or career opportunity that you think would kick you into action. Just imagine you already have it, and now like you're professional right now as you wake up today. What would a pro do? Follow through those actions. He has a book about that. Thinking of other books. A book that I've been reading here and there for the past year or two is How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci, which is I think it's a really important book because Michael Gelb, he studies how Da Vinci thought, and he studied Da Vinci's activities, and um, you know, actually something Tony Robbins says. He says success leaves clues. So someone super successful, we can obviously learn from that, right? Just like we learn from failure, you can learn from success. What were the actions that they did? It's not necessarily about just copying it, right? But it's about seeing why that may have worked for them, and then taking your own intuitive insights from that, and then applying it to your own life. So looking at the practices that Da Vinci did and how he lived his life, I think can teach us, a lot. And he has a whole workbook on it, a whole book, how to think like Leonardo da Vinci. And I think it's really a book on how to think like how to think like your best self and how to unlock the power from within. So that's a great one. And he also has another book called Creativity. I don't know why I thought creatine. Creativity as an action, I believe it's called. That's if you're interested in like body movements and stuff to awaken the inner artist, which I am a fan of all that stuff. So that's why I'm reading that. And then I would say trust the books that come your way. If a book comes up, someone recommends a book, or you see a book somewhere and it feels right, it feels like that looks interesting, like intuitively can't explain it, but it feels like it's calling out to you. Trust that one. That's the one that you're meant to read. That's the best one for you, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, or if it's about something that's not even related to being an artist. It's meant to cross your path for a reason. So just trust it and read it and be open to, you know, what it's trying to tell you. For sure. Oh yeah, Artist's Way. No, I haven't gone through it yet. Yeah. Yeah, I have not finished that one. No. But from what I've read from it, it's great. And that's where I got the whole morning pages idea from, the stream of conscious pages. That's why I started doing that. Yeah, Artist's Way is great. Yo, JDO, your feature script process videos are straight hype for me. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Inclines me to have different approaches to my project. That's why that's literally that's why I made them. Like I made those, or I'm still making them. And the next episode's coming out today. And this one is the opening to this one. The first like minute or two is really great. I'm really excited for you guys to watch it. It's my favorite vlog so far, I think. I've heard my favorite video in a while, actually, just because of the opening. I made that series when I started making those vlogs. I was like, I know what this series would mean to me. Like, I know how it would help me and how it would inspire me if I saw someone else doing this kind of series. So I just decided to do it myself because I knew the value and inspiration it would provide for, people like you, people like me, other artists. Just there's something powerful. I think that's why that type of content is on the rise, and why that content people resonate with it. It's just the raw action. It's it's watching someone almost like a documentary, just watching someone. I think that's also why Sam Solok, that's someone else I studied his content. He's I guess a gym guru. But he just posts like, 30, 40 minutes of him just working out in the gym. It's not like these crazy edits of like retention editing. It's very slow. It's very meditative. It's just him talking. And I think people like that because it feels like it's closer to reality. It's closer to what they experience in their own lives. We don't experience life as like crazy editing cuts. We just experience it as it's meant to. It's a slow process that we have to meditate into, right? And things are happening in real time. And there's just some element about that that makes a connection with the viewer. And it's like, like I can, like, I'm him or I'm her. I, I am the person who I'm watching. I can see myself in this video. I can see myself in the creator. I can see myself doing what this person is doing in this video that I'm watching. So, you know, that's why I made them, because again, I knew what they would mean for me. And I know that it helps show people like, you can do it. The project that you have, the creative project that you have, the creative work that you're imagining in your head, the the artistic craft that you're daydreaming about, but maybe you're scared of doing it, or something's stopping you, or maybe you're just lazy. A lot of us we just experience laziness. I'm the same way. I struggle with it. That's why I think implementing practices, and systems are important. Um, how you approach the work, how you romanticize the process, right? Um, but yeah, just seeing someone else do it, it's like, I could do it. Look, it's just about sitting down and doing the work, right? I can do this. I got it. It's like visualizing yourself doing it. Yeah, my side stories tend to be more wacky and experimentative than my main, purely due to the line of feeling more freedom. Nice, beautiful. Yeah, there's I resonate with that. There was a part in my script where I was totally like free to create whatever I wanted to, because I was like, at this point, none of this is gonna go into my. I was working on a scratch draft, which that vlog will be out next week. The scratch draft portion of this screenplay that I'm writing, and I was like, none of this is gonna go in anyway. So let me just let go and just write whatever. And then the next like 10, 20 pages I wrote with that mindset were actually the best pages that I wrote of the whole screenplay. Not only that, but ironically, there's a lot of pages in there that I actually want like word for word in the final draft. How ironic is that? That like I went into that with the mindset of I'm not going to use any of this. I'm just going to let go and write whatever. And then with that freeing feeling, I actually wrote my best work. And it was the opposite. It was like, oh no, this is going in. Like this is great stuff. So funny. I found that so crazy. But yeah, there's a feeling of freedom. When you're free, you just it's like a playground. It's literally like a playground. And the creative spirit just works. It just plays, and then that produces the best work. You know, Wacky are the best. Exactly. Yes, finally can join. Yo, at Italia. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Finally, you're here. You joined one. One of us. One of us. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Wherever he comes out that way, uniqueness is your power. Yep. Be the person no one else can be. And that's just yourself. That's just authentic you. Creating authentic creations from yourself. Things that only you can make. The things that you feel. That's why you gotta trust your feelings. Trust the feelings that feel strong. The feelings that you know deep down. You should trust the feelings that are reflective of who you are. Right? Because it can be a messy thing. You know, if you listen to every single emotion, every single thing that could be labeled as an emotion, that could be dangerous, right? Because a lot of our emotions, you know, can feel out of our control. Um, you know, if something triggers you in a really deep way and you get very angry and you know you don't control that, it can get messy. But again, I think that the level of difficulty of an activity or something is just an indicator as to how great, you know, how great the other side is, how great it is when you work on it. So emotions can be very difficult to work with and learn about, but when you do, when you start to master them, you start to just build a relationship with your emotions and your feelings. Then, you know, something great lies on the other side. Something great lies through that work, because then you unlock inner wisdom. Then you unlock, you know, knowing the feelings that are trying to guide you and are trying to show you important things that will literally transform your life if you pursue them. Your video cinematography and lighting is amazing. Great storyline. Oh, thank you. Keep going. Thank you. Rocket ship. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time to touch down when I get too far. I'm not the man you think I am at home. No, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. You know, I was able to get my Blackmagic camera with YouTube, with the money I got from YouTube, which was only possible from you guys supporting the content. That's why I'm so grateful for what I get to do and and yeah, what it affords me and just the journey and the mission. My content's always going to be mission oriented. That'll never change. Um, you know, like I don't know if it's I don't know if it's worth talking about, um, but you know, like even things with like sponsorships, like I've had a lot of like countless, you know, products and companies come up to me about sponsorships, but I haven't taken them, like 90% of them, just because they don't align with the mission of my content, what I believe, you know, about the spirit and um, about our purpose, about creativity, about art, you know, about what's important to me and to what's important to, um, I think, yeah, humanity. And that's even something like I was, you know, that's something that's always going to be at the forefront, and it's going to be, I think, maybe even my greatest weakness, my greatest struggle in my life is maintaining mission first, you know, um, God first, really, because God gives me my mission through the insights within, um, and yeah, the most fulfilling part of all this is that I get to live out authentically my content and the things that I do, um, and people get to be inspired by that. People get to resonate with that. And when I read all the comments, I'm just like, wow, like I know I'm doing the right thing for myself in my life, and I know I'm creating the things I'm meant to, because all these people, all these lovely people, all over the world are resonating and benefiting from the content in meaningful ways that helps them in their lives and their journeys and the things that they care about. And I know that I'm utilizing my gifts. Um, and I think that's why we came here. It's part of why we came here, is to utilize the gifts that we were naturally born with and the things that we feel called to. When you live in alignment with your purpose and the thing that feels right, that truly feels right, um, you spread the most joy to other people. You spread the most amount of joy that you can to other people. So think about your gifts and utilize your gifts. And if you think you don't have gifts, that's impossible. That's just impossible. It's like saying that it's like a tree or flower, doesn't have I don't know, a root or a stem. No, it's just a natural part. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to live without it. Um, we all come into this world with unique things and different things and different inclinations, and you have to find those things and trust them. Let them be the sails of your ship, and let them take you far, far away. At least for me, my best work happens when I'm fully free, having fun, also drawing energy from my biggest inspirations, video games, a lot of those, even though I make fashion 3D animations. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling when you approach the work and you want to work on the thing, whatever it is that you have, like a hobby, like you would with a hobby, not even like feeling out of obligation. And yeah, it's a big balance. It's a big balancing act, right? Balancing that with also being stern on getting certain things done. That balance is up to you as an artist. You got to find your own flow. I find my flow. We all find our own flow, and we see what works best for us. Let's go, JDO. Let's go. Yes, sir. Also, yeah, loving the behind the scenes videos. So much fun seeing people's creative process. Everyone thinks different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. It is. Everyone's process is different, and everyone's process works for them the way they seek fit, however they feel best. Approaching their own work. Wrote my first scene for a play. I can't wait to get into screenwriting too. This group is a huge presence to provide inspiration and accountability in my life, y'all. Oh, Imogen, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for saying that. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. It's the beautiful thing about community, right? The connection with all of us and all of us being reminders and mirrors. The world is a mirror. Other people are your mirrors, and we reflect back in each other ourselves. And I'm very, very grateful to be a part of this community with you, Imogen. Thank you. That's lovely. That is lovely. This content, this community helps me too, as well. This community inspires me. This community helps me keep accountability, and if it wasn't for you guys, I know I wouldn't have the same sort of inclination towards a lot of the work that I do. So I appreciate y'all. Y'all a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. Feel the same, Imogen. Congrats. Creative work is very lonely. It's good to have others to chat with about creating. Yep. Yep. Even if it's just putting something out there, seeing what someone else says, something they say resonates, Don't stop making them. Those future scripts resonate with me a lot. Yes. Like going through the same process of thinking and writing the main plots. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for expressing that. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, no, I'll not stop. It's very possible. If it's in God's plan, I see this film through all the way, right? I make it, produce it, film it. That process will be documented as well. So yeah, I'm in a lot of talks with some friends about getting this film made. So we'll see what happens. But my mind is at least very much on track. My mind is very determined and committed to the path of seeing this vision through, making this film. It's exciting. I was just talking last night with my friends about it. It's beautiful, man. It is beautiful. Share any experience that will be helpful for us in life. Yep. I want to make. I was thinking the other night. I want to make a different type of content. I think I want to make videos in black and white, talking about just insights I get from my life. Yeah, insights from my experiences and certain things. Um, yeah, when we authentically share, it's just about authenticity, right? I mean, we share experiences, we see the connections, the commonalities between us. This community is truly amazing. Oh, beautiful. I get some hearts. Thank you very much for saying that. It's beautiful. It's it is amazing. This community is amazing. I'm very grateful for it. It's this community is doing what it's meant to do in all of our lives. It's carrying out the mission. It's carrying out, you know, um, its role, just like everything does. Just like everything does. Everything in its right timing. It is amazing. Do you think about the budget when writing your script? Great question. I don't know if I talked about this in the vlogs before, like my thoughts about this, like budget. Um, Generally, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no, as in like, well, first, no, as in like, if I get an idea, I guess my simple answer would be no. Um, I don't think there's been a moment where I've been writing. I kind of started with the foundation and the idea of like, okay, this is where the locations will be, and this is what happens, and yeah, I know that I could. I know that I'll be able to get access to some kind of urban area, some kind of urban city, and then there's like a spaceship involved, and can I afford to buy like a NASA spaceship? No, not right now, but I'm gonna build one. I'm just gonna build one somehow. I don't know. I don't know exactly somehow. I mean, I got really creative for my senior thesis film, which I know I've been talking about Dear Julian, my senior thesis for a while. I know, believe me. That is probably the creative project I'm struggling with most right now in terms of just actually finishing and finalizing, getting it out there. I think I'm so caught up with the other projects I have right now, such as the script, music, and content, that one has gotten a little neglected, but it's also something I'm so excited to get out there. But anyway, I got so creative with that and the set design there and the props that I'm just going to channel that same creativity with myself and my creative friends, and we're going to build something epic. But there hasn't been a moment in the screenplay where like I've had an idea and then I was like, oh no, I don't think I'll be able to afford that. It's just not been something on my mind because I kind of just trust that I'll be able to do it somehow. Like even like I have a scene. I was talking to my friend about this last night. Like this would be crazy if we actually have to produce this, but we'll see what happens. There's a scene with like 100 or 200, 300 people in like a conference event or conference room. There's like a whole presentation. I'm like, I don't know if this is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to say I don't even know if this is possible because words are very powerful. But again, I just trust that whatever ideas I get, I'm meant to. The ones that feel strong, and if anything, they'll deviate and they'll pivot. And maybe I got some idea right now for a reason that I'm going to be forced to change later. That that's the way it was meant to pan out. But if I had rejected that idea, then it wouldn't have led me on the path to see it through and then come into contact with something else. So a simple general answer, like no, I'm not thinking about budget. But again, I still like I'm aware of my resources. I plan to the tentative plan is to move into an apartment, into an urban area, and build the spaceship in the apartment, and then film the urban scenes and like different places around, um, yeah, the urban area, the urban streets. And in terms of finding actual locations, we did a lot of that in college, in film school, is just finding locations for free and talking to people. Um, Yeah, it's a crazy thing being a filmmaker, but again, I trust what's happening. I trust the ideas I get, and it's about being creative. It's about being very, very creative because I could easily look at the ideas I have for the spaceship and all the props and set design and be like, "Oh, no, like, I don't have that money to afford like that." But you can get very creative with a lot of different things. Um, it's not about the resources, it's about what you do with those resources, and, yeah. I mean, after all, we're creatives, right? So we gotta get creative somehow. By the way, if your script also about aliens and stuff, I encourage you to watch an anime called Dando Dan. Ooh, cool, 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 cool. I'm noting that down. Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely very much it's definitely a space stuff for sure. So I'll check that out. Maybe the artwork will resonate. Appreciate that. Most of my character situations in my stories, mostly the main character embodies my identity. But I also have a lot of diversity that seems opposite to me or just very different entirely. Yeah, there's a lot of there's, I resonate with that. The same similar thing in my script about, like, writing, and you can see where you're reflected in the characters you're writing, but also in other characters, like, "Where is this coming from?" But that's why, like, for me, the only rule I follow is if it feels right, then put it in, write it in. Yeah. I definitely base my character off of a lot of experiences that I've had. The whole story is based off of basically like my own experiences, my own spiritual experiences. How's your rough draft going? And of course, Ben and the Bear. I love it. It's awesome that people know about Ben and the Bear because it's just characters in my mind for the most part, my own little mad, crazy, psychotic world. But people actually know about the bear, Cosmos the Bear, and Ben. It's so funny to me. It's surreal. Love how your script has something to do with the cosmos. There's a lot of creative freedom and magic when you write something about. Yep. Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful vibe. It's a beautiful there's so much, right? Like there's so much open interpretation. There's so much you can do with that. So much you can do with the script like that. Yeah. The rough draft. Well, right now I'm on the scratch draft. The scratch draft's taken a week longer than I anticipated it taking. Um, Really only because the climax is just I didn't get to the climax as soon as I maybe would have liked to, but everything happens for a reason. So I trust it. But this week, like I've only r- had like one or two writing sessions, so it's extended into it's I anticipated taking me 2 weeks, but now it's taken me about 3 weeks. But that's okay. I'm gonna take the time that I allotted to a rewrite of the draft and just move it. So instead of having like I think 12 or almost 2 weeks for the rewrite, I'm gonna have a little under 1 week, which you know what, I'm just going with the flow. I'm just going with it, I'm 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 doing what I can. But the scratch draft is you'll see when the scratch draft vlog is out, like my thoughts during that process. But basically, like it started great. Started like, okay, like I'm writing the scratch draft, I'm writing the first 10, 20 pages. And then after like 30, 40 pages, it got very hard. I'm not even gonna lie. It was very I struggled a lot to like power through the pages. And it was difficult, it was challenging. A part of me wanted to push off the work, but I really just committed, even if it was like late into the day, like I just committed. I was like 10 pages, gotta do it. Even if I stayed up late, I was like, I need to do it. I knew deep down I had to. And then something similar happened to what happened in episode 2 where I had the breakthrough, and I just had, like, a breakthrough with I talked about it earlier, like, just, like, having freedom to write and then, like, you write your best pages, and that was just me trusting the path and just trusting that if I just keep writing, if I just keep working, then the ideas are all just gonna come together, the ideas that want to. That's what I did. I just forced the pages out, I did what felt right, and then it's all working out, it's all unfolding. Again, it's taking me, like, a week longer, but still, it's those ups and downs and getting through those middle, like, 80 pages, the hardest writing that I've ever done in my life, but rewarding, at the end. And even if it didn't pan out that way, I'd still be trusting the path, right? But it's just beautiful to see how, like, the last, like, 30, 40 pages I've been writing, just the most fun screenwriting by far that I've ever done in my life, like, ever. Like, nothing even compares, nothing compares. It's just, like, seeing the scene and the lines of dialogue, like, happen in my head before I'm writing, and it's like I'm catching up. It's like how Steven Spielberg describes it, like, you're almost catching up to the words, as you type. It's like that type of screenwriting that's just so beautiful. It makes me very I see that I'm growing as a writer, I'm growing as a screenwriter in real time. It's a beautiful thing. Um, yeah, but all that experience, like, all of that is documented into the scratch draft vlog, which is gonna be episode 4. Episode 3 comes out today, and episode 4 will probably come out in, like, a week because it might take me a while to edit that one. Um, and yeah, after the scratch draft is the rough draft, the official rough draft, which is gonna be the actual like, most of the scratch draft not being used. Um, the rough draft will have to be the new basis for the script. And that the rough drafts I'm gonna allot more time to, so I'm gonna instead of 10 pages a day, I'm gonna do like 6 or 7 pages a day, so I can focus on each page and focus a little bit more, on each scene and really trying to perfect it. Not perfect it, but just be more conscious about it, I guess. Give more time and attention. it feels natural having something unique. Yeah, because you are naturally unique. You are naturally beautiful and unique. So you just got to be yourself. It's a beautiful feeling. I think a large part of why I gravitated towards watching you is because I came from a very anti-creativity family. Words of helping to replace a program negative self-talk belief. Oh wow. Very encouraged, supporting, grounded presence. Oh, Kurt. Oh man. I love you so much, man. I appreciate those words so much. That means a lot, and it makes me so happy that I'm able to, through the content, through the community, provide a space that is a helpful reminder and yeah, like you're saying, like something that's encouraging into something that's very, very true. And I mean, you know what I think about creativity, about art. I think it is so important. And I think it means so much more than just what we're doing in our bedrooms when we create art. We're tapping into a source of power that, if truly understood and truly comprehended by humanity, our world would drastically transform. And I believe that is very much in our destiny. So let's continue to cultivate our creativity and tap into that power, because we don't know how it's going to affect your life and your role within the greater life that we all have, that we're all sharing on this planet. Um, Art has a unique vantage point at striking the base of ideas and beliefs we share collectively, because art strikes the chord, it strikes the soul, it strikes with emotion. It's different than reading about a fact of history in a textbook. It's different than reading an article in the news or watching the news, or those are that's information, but they're not stories. We make stories, and we have just as much of a valid part in the greater picture of information exchange and collective discussions about how the world works. We have just as much as a valid part as any other group of people. Um, and we hold something, and art holds a space that nothing else could replace, you know? Um, so yeah, your art is important. It touches the people that it's meant to, just like the things that I make, they're meant to move people in certain ways that it's meant to, you know? Um, and yeah, and even the spiritual practices, um, that I implement, and I believe that is important to implement for creativity and art, is just important for life itself. Whether it's journaling or solitude or deep reflection, spending time with your soul, learning about yourself. These are all just important things, not only for your creative craft, but for your life and you showing up for your life. And Gandalf has like the quote. Gandalf says, "Some believe it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I have found that it is the small everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love." Gandalf, Lord of the Rings. My mom sent that to me. I remember when I watched that in the first movie, that struck a chord within me, and I think it's very true. Don't underestimate the power that you hold. Don't just believe that the things in the world that are happening, um, you know, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, and you're powerless to it. And the people at the top are just gonna, do what they do, and that's how the world is, and how it's always been, and that's how it's gonna be. Don't buy into that narrative. Don't buy into fear. We can do great things. I know we can. I know we can. We have great destinies, but it starts with ourselves. Because actually, great segue into the book. Starts with ourselves. Because we can't change the world. We cannot change the world unless we change ourselves. Right? There's a part in this book. There's a part in this book where it talks about that, and essentially that, like, Ram Dass, the spiritual teacher. Ram Dass is a great, um, if you're into like spiritual things, philosophy, like he's so great at just tuning into the body, tuning into the mind, becoming aware of oneself. He says the best thing that I can do for you is work on myself. The best thing I can do for you is work on myself. So if I'm the best version of myself, then I can play my role into its highest potential, you know? The same power that was available to them is available to you if you have the courage to claim it. Changing an organization, a company, a country, or a world begins with the simple step of changing yourself. And that takes courage. It's true. It's very, very true. The courage to change oneself is the courage to change the world. And honestly, like, it does feel like, you're changing the world because you're changing your world, the world that you live in, the life that you live in. I'll go into some more quotes. I'll read through these chats. Let's see, where was I? Can I make it as a writer? I love self-improvement content, spirituality, and life. I already made my routine and try to write something online every day. That's beautiful. Wow. That is awesome. That's great. Continue to follow those things, follow the things that you're being gravitated towards. Trust those things. Keep pursuing it. And can I make it as a writer? I would say, I believe that if you're called to a craft, if you're called to creating things, then you have a mission to fulfill. Just like I have a mission to fulfill. And I believe that goals and dreams and visions that we have in our mind are north stars to get us to where we're meant to go. So for me, I have in my mind that um, I have a vision in my head of like movies I'll make and music that I'll make and the art that I'll make. And it feels like grand visions, like very vivid and pure things that I'm just like, wow, like these are, like decades long missions and journeys, right? Like I just have it so vividly in my head. And for me, those are my north stars that I'm pursuing. Do I know for a fact that all of that's going to happen? For me, I say that only God knows. But I know for a fact that those are not in my head for no reason. Those are my north stars, and I pursue them, and they will take me where I'm meant to go. And I know that I'm destined for great things. And the visions and north stars that you have, I believe, should be pursued with a detachment of outcomes, with a detachment of the details of how things play out. Because the more you hold on to that, the more you're actually pushing it away. That's the whole reason of like why like letting go is a superpower, because letting go is actually opening yourself up to the best path. And I believe that making it as an artist, it is unfortunate. Well, not I won't say unfortunate, but the industry and the way that art is monetized and the way it's been made into a business is you know so many great art comes out of so much great art comes out of the industries and worlds of art that collect a lot of money, and produce a lot of celebrities and icons, um, but it carries that risk, and like it has done is has intoxicated the art, and also created something that a lot of people, including myself for a long time, interpret as like the end goal. I think this is very dangerous, and I think that our natural inclination to create, um, and to make art is that it's natural and it's just happening for itself. And the more you cultivate just that pure connection, that pure act of creation, like the greater into blossoming that you can make your gifts. But again, it can be intoxicated and muddied when you attach to other things. Narog, who's someone in the Discord, made a great video, who says the title of it, his philosophy is "Don't make it, make." So don't make it, period, make. Don't try to make it, just make. Right? So don't try to make it, or don't try to fulfill some kind of standard or quota, or get to some kind of thing that lies on the approval of others. Just make, just create. Just create from the soul, just create things. As long as you're doing that, again, like the pursuing those North Stars and those visions and the ambition, find a way of living in alignment and you get to where you're meant to go. And, it's funny, I think about like, where my films could go, right? Like the big films that I could take on, the productions and the crews there. And I think about the films that I've already made. And for me, the most beautiful things are already happening. I'm already making films. I'm already sharing memories with people, right? Experiencing the art, the creation of art with other people. And for me, that's the most important thing. I'm making art that's true to me. And that's never going to change no matter how big my film sets get or no matter where my film productions go. I can't necessarily say that, like my senior thesis film shoot is any better or worse than, let's say, like my most successful film shoot in the future. The most important stuff is already happening now. So, yeah. And I really do think that living in alignment with that and staying in the now helps you live in alignment to the greatest path, right? The path with the greatest true successes. But yeah, continue to pursue those things. It's so self-improvement, spirituality, and life, wanting to better oneself. And I think that is so important in our world today. So it's beautiful. And it is beautiful. I started watching you directly after I was starting to become a story writer. It's such irony. Meant to be. Meant to be, JDO. You fell into my trap. You cannot escape. Also, spiritual aspects. Great to see more tuned in peeps. Yes. For you film, I shall buy 4 tickets. Yes. 4 tickets to JDO. Front seat. You must sit right here, sir. I'll do the impossible feat of creating an animated movie that's gorgeous. It'll also be longer than 3 hours, most likely, without a single dime. Oh, beautiful. Yes. Do it, JDO. Do it. I believe in you. I believe in you. Let's see it. 3-hour magnum opus. Create with the soul, create with the heart. It's beautiful having those ambitions, right? Yeah. It is beautiful. Could you put them using CGI? Pretty easy. Procedural crowd generator in my 3D software. Ooh. Oh yeah, I relate to that, JDO. My characters are all personality versions of me. All archetypes of the mind. Charlie Kaufman films are like a lot of Charlie Kaufman films are like that. W, baby. Sorry I'm so late to the stream, brother. Oh, don't be sorry. You're just on time. Gandalf says Wizard is never late. Wizard is always on time. You're right on time, man. Glad to see you as usual. Glad to have you in here, TK. Thank you for joining. TK, that's my initials. That is my initial. Also want to acknowledge the passing of David Lynch. Yes, I know. His work and his process was tapped in. David Lynch was a fascinating mind, the presence of a loving soul, and such a huge inspiration to a lot of us. His film Eraserhead, his first feature film, always stuck out to me as like a fascinating feature director debut. And I was talking about it with my friend last night, actually, because I was talking about my feature film. And it's amazing to have artists like David Lynch and their films in the world to be inspirational for someone like me who's, I'm working on my first feature film, and I look at what he was able to do with his first feature film and the creativity that was engaged in with that film, the world building. If you've seen Eraserhead, just look it up real quick. David Lynch Eraserhead, like on Google Images. It's crazy. It's weird, but it's just so imaginative. It is so unique. It is so creative. There's nothing like it. You can't compare it to anything, and it's just David Lynch being himself. And I think David Lynch made it very. I think he helped artists feel more validated in their uniqueness and in their crazy worlds, and it's like a feeling of freedom, like we were talking about earlier, and that's at least what he meant to me. And he also talked a lot about transcendental meditation. He talked a lot about spirituality, which is amazing. Um, and yeah, it's um, it's so his soul passing is certainly going to influence the next times I watch his films. But he lives through his art. He lives through his art. His soul lives through his art. I believe that, and that is a beautiful thing. But yeah, if you guys haven't watched David Lynch's films, man, check it out. If you like weird stuff, you like dream stuff. I still have to watch Twin Peaks. But yeah, Eraserhead's crazy. I'm gonna rewatch Eraserhead with my friends before we make the feature film, um, just to get more inspired on that front. The debut feature film. Late till live. I'm on the rewind. Thank you for joining, June. Appreciate it. Yeah, art and creativity is such a vital part of life. Spirituality, very healing, which is my main goal. I want others to connect to themselves on deeper levels. Yeah, that was I remember I wrote out like a mission statement kind of idea for my own art. It's like I want my films to inspire others to self-reflect, self-realize, and self-actualize. Self-reflect, like question yourself and your own beliefs. Self-realize, then realizing like who you are and what you care about, and then self-actualize, and then implementing work ethic and ambition and motive to actually make those transformations that you've now made in your mind. And that's what 2001 Space Odyssey did for me, the most influential film in my life. So I think it's very much part of my mission to do, to try and channel that same energy with my films. And yeah, that's what art is. That's yeah, art is so like actually can help a lot of other people actually work with this stuff in our life. Instead of just learning more information and mindlessly expanding and developing our world with technological devices. We can actually alchemize things in our life and actually look at things and feel things and change things and be inspired to do that through art. Like Kurt and JDO said, I think this is something we can collectively relate to because character writing exposes so much about you and part of you which you never thought existed. I end up learning something new. Yep. About myself after every session of writing. Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah. I feel like my art always has a message from my soul. It's like my soul telling me to do something. And that's why art is therapy. You can learn so much, and it shows it's a reflection of the answers that you have inside that you've always had. You've always had. It can be a very enlightening experience. All transformation starts from within. This is true. This is true. Mom teaches you well. I gravitate to your positive thinking and approach because I'm learning myself. I learn by myself. I hope you always have that in you, no matter how difficult things may be. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. And yes, my mom teaches me well, very well. Very grateful for her. And same to you, Talia. It's beautiful thing about community and connections that we can be here for each other when things are good, when things are bad, and life is doesn't always seem easy, doesn't always seem simple, doesn't always seem, clear. We don't always feel like we have clarity. Um, and those are challenges that we experience that we're meant to and to learn from. And your feelings are valid. Your experiences are valid. And that's why we need to cultivate the beauty that we do see in life. We need to cultivate that positivity because we need it in our lives and the world needs it. Our world is a lot of our world is struggling a lot. Um, and I think that there's a big portion of the world that has access to a lot of power and responsibility. And when you actualize that and activate it in your own life, we can play bigger roles of influence on our planet and with other humans. So look at to the things that you have, look at to your resources and your circumstances, and question things that are happening on this planet. Question how you're spending your time, question what you care about, question what's happening, what we're doing, where we're directing our time, where are where's the where are the collective efforts of humanity shifting towards? What are we collectively working on? And ask yourself, do you feel like that's, aligned with what's best for the world? Don't just take it for granted. Don't just assume that it's, you know, don't just take that it's the best thing for humanity because it's what drives the most money and um, the most scientific advancement or whatever, is we all have a say in this, and make your own conclusions, and ponder it. Don't just take things for what they are. Don't just listen to the world just because the world tells you certain things or seems like things are a certain way and they have to stay that way. Released my first full-length rap album in December. Wow, congrats, CJ. Incredible. Congratulations. Your channel was a key part in motivating me to finish. Wow. Much love from Texas. Oh, much love to Texas. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that a lot. I feel very, very happy for you for releasing a full-length rap album. That is crazy. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. That is something to be proud of, something to cherish. And you activated something within you that's very precious and very valuable. And I wish you the best of luck in continuing to develop that craft, and to keep pursuing that part within you that you activated. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm very honored that my content was able to help you in any way. So, I was a mirror for the truth, for your truth. You resonated with my content because something within you already knew the answers. So again, just honored to be a part of your path. Keep pursuing that, keep cultivating and pursuing that creativity. It's only the beginning. You got it. You got it, bro. Thank you for sharing. I also saw you mentioned Dakota last stream after I left. I think I subbed to him nearly 10 years ago now. See the odd post of his. Yeah. So funny. Yeah. Kurt is or Dakota of Earth is awesome. Dakota of Earth is incredible. Incredible channel, incredible guy, incredible human, amazing videos. I love his videos. All art is to be within, or ought to feel correct and right. Ought to feel right. If it feels right, you're on the path. You're in alignment with the path. How does a certain character or scene in short films make one feel so many emotions resonating to the storyline without uttering a single word? I sometimes wonder what magic does an artist used to deeply express their ideas in this way. As part of the magic of art, right? It's like the magic of art, why art works. And honestly, I contemplate the same thing when I watch films sometimes. I just watch and I'm like, this is just a mystery at the end of the day. I can have all my thoughts I want on creativity. I can have all the thoughts I want in the world about creativity and about art and how it works. But at the end of the day, this is all mystery. It's beautiful, and I just want to partake in that mystery. I want to make things in the world that make others feel similar feelings and experiences I get when I watch movies or I experience other art. It's incredible. It's an incredible feeling. And it's proof that the power's from somewhere else. It's of great power. It is of great power. And again, as it's cultivated, as it's expressed, as it's, as we put more time and energy into this beautiful world of art, that power we'll see it continue to blossom in our world. We've barely touched the surface with art, which also didn't follow the absurdities of Hollywood and encouraged everyone to nurture their creativity and let us know we all have the ability to catch the creative fish. Yes, he went against the grain. Yep. With story structure and everything, it was all about art for him. He was untethered. Yeah. That's what it is. Like the way he talked about ideas, the way he talked about ideas and getting ideas for your art, fishing for the ideas, fishing for the fish is like so inspirational, so again, like just making you feel capable of it, making you feel like, wow, like yeah, like I can get these ideas. I can do it, you know? Yeah, it's a beautiful and David Lynch, he utilized his gifts, you know? That was him utilizing his gifts and practicing his gifts and out into the world. That's why he was able to do what he did. Wrote my first song, but stuck in my mind how I'm going to produce that because I don't know about music theory, mixing, etc. I'm thinking about rules much. Everything is fine if it sounds good. That's what we want. Yeah. You know, Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother, says there's a difference between what makes something good and what you like, you know, what your personal taste is in music. Um, and it's similar to the, you know, productivity in art, you know, as long as you're being intentional and you want to learn more, you know, learn whatever you want to, then just trust yourself, trust your taste, and you know, don't be careful with the mindset and certain standards for what you need to know and what you need to learn before you make a song. You know, I think the best form of education is experience itself, and you know, I still don't know everything about mixing, music theory and all that stuff, but I just create. You know, if I let that get to my head too much, then it would just stop me because I'd always have a reason to not make a song. I could always look at one area in music production and be like, oh, I don't know how all these details work, or how this process works in its entirety. So let me wait until I learn that before I go and make this song. But you know, maybe I'm actually more creative and more free when I'm not cluttered with that information and that education. You know, so just trust yourself to create. The way you are, the way, you know, the way forms itself as you put one foot in front of the other. Rest in peace, David Lynch. Love his weirdness, following the surreal vibe from my own work. He was definitely tapped in, very spiritual man. So defo, for me, these other characters being expressed in my work was very healing. I was disconnected from myself before I started creating, and these neglected. Yeah. hmm Yeah. It's the power of art. Teaches you about yourself. I always can always see myself in the protagonist again, even if it's not in the moment and I'm aware of what it means. Sometimes it's after, it's later. It's like, ah, I see how this was. I see how I was this character. Unpopular opinion: Lynch is one of those artists that had great superficial aesthetics. The colors, the lines, meaningless, disguised as depth. What lesson from him helps humanity? So you think like maybe style over substance? I could see that. It was very weird, surreal dreams, definitely. Um, Lesson from humanity. I think about the talk that he gave about transcendental meditation and how he's able to almost create a poetry around who we are and what happens when we meditate and what happens when we connect to a space of oneness. And I think that kind of talk is very important because it signifies that a power that we all have within, and it's a different magical way of looking at life and the world around us. And yeah, it's certain talks that he had that definitely helped me connect to my own spirituality. And again, just the way that he described fishing for ideas and the way that he talked about ideas themselves just made it feel like tangible, motivating, empowering. I would say empowering. But yeah, his films are definitely weird. I'll definitely say he had weird films. Very dream-like, surreal. But I think that's why so many people like myself love them because they're just so different. They're so him. And you can kind of project your own metaphors and your own themes onto his films. And it doesn't fit within a certain narrative or certain structure. It doesn't feel like it has limitations. And in that, it's like free. It's free in a way. Yo, Maria, this is so special. You are very special, Maria. Thank you so much for joining the stream, Maria. How are you? How are you doing? Amazing. Maria Tech. Parts of me got expressed. This theme is very common in Yun. Active imagination, spiritual alchemy, becoming a more balanced person. Mm. Mhm. Yep. Yep, that's why the art is the therapy. It can bring out the shadow, bring out archetypes of yourself. I mentioned one of Jung's quotes in a YouTube video I'm editing right now for the channel. I'm reading his book, Man and His Symbols. Man and His Symbols. It's a great book. I feel you, Kurt. I always feel too emotional and empty, probably due to bottling my emotions when I burnt out, not taking them seriously. That feeling of finally expressing yourself is amazing. Looking at my past journals, I feel proud to I feel proud to see me grow as I'm getting more and more aligned to truth in my creative spirit, Kurt. Wow, that is so beautiful. I'm so proud of you for expressing yourself through your art, Kurt, after all the neglect and being in an environment where you couldn't be creative, you know? Mm-hmm. Yep. It's finding the space where you're meant to grow and meant to be, and that is such important work. Working with your own emotions, working with yourself, learning about yourself. It's so deeply profound, so deeply important. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Um, Before we wrap the stream, just want to share maybe like one or two more things from this book. That again, that this kind of idea, awaken the giant within, is I think can help a lot of us artists, because I feel like the area we struggle with most is just like activating the willpower, the work ethic to how do we like actually get our work done, and we have so many ideas, so many projects, so many dreams, but it's like it can feel very overwhelming. So principles and certain systems of work can really help us just simplify the work and actually take control, of our actions, our habits, and help us focus more on the work. um and yeah, so there's a couple things that I wanted to bring up. Let me see. Certain things about trust in yourself, trust in the ideas. Um, let's see. Insights. Here we go. So he says this is in his chapter called Step 3: Change Your Strategy. I'm not sharing these lessons with you to say that I have all the answers or that my life has been perfect or smooth. I've certainly had my share of challenging times, but through it all, I've managed to learn, persist, and continually succeed throughout the years. Each time I've met a challenge, I've used what I've learned to take my life to a new level. Each time I've met a challenge, I've used what I've learned to take my life to a new level. This is similar to what I was talking about in actually the first creative project stream about mindset and about problems that we run into our life. And I wrote down here in the side note here with like my insight on this page was that the most valuable advice to you are the insights that you make from your own challenges. So the most valuable advice is the insight that you make from your own challenge. So you are the only one who's actually experiencing your own difficulty and your own challenges. Your unique persona, your unique soul, your person, who you are, and your unique challenge and obstacle. And intuitively, how you feel about that challenge is the best advice that you can receive. You know, it's soul tailored to yourself. That's why, the practice of journaling is so incredible, because you can tune into how you intuitively feel about the things happening in your life. Instead of just reacting from thing, you can take time to respond to something. And when something's happening in your life, you hold that answer within on how you can best respond to it, and what it's bringing up in you, and how you feel you should be acting based off of this difficulty, based off of this obstacle. And for me, I love that. It's, looking at your challenge, looking at the thing that you face that is actually trying to make you better, right? That's the power of mindset, of looking at something that's negative and not just labeling it as something negative. Oh, this is a problem in my life. Like, oh, this is, it's so powerful to change the way that you're looking at those things in your life, to see like, okay, how is this thing actually making me grow? How's this thing helping me to grow? How's this thing making me stronger? You know, use your own insights, your intuitive insights from the challenges in your life, and apply that. Turn that into advice for yourself. And that's how you can best move forward with your own obstacles, with your own challenges that you face in your life. Oh, this one. I'll say this one as well. It says, we'll be reviewing some of the fundamentals since repetition is the mother of skill. Therefore, I hope this will be a book you'll read again and again, a book you'll come back to and utilize as a tool to trigger yourself to find the answers that already lie inside you. Find the answers that already lie inside you. And he says somewhere else, I'm not sure exactly where the line is, but he says that sometimes coaches don't necessarily tell us new things, but remind us of things that we already know, which is amazing because it shows that, we already know what we have to do. It's not necessarily about learning more information, but rather doing the things that we already know we have to do, doing the things, uh, acting off of the answers that we already have within. And I think the reason why sometimes we avoid those answers is because either it's hard to go about, right? Like the easy way is always the or the comfortable ways, the easy way and the comfortable ways is the way that doesn't really make us grow or make us change. Um, but you hold the answers within as to how to move forward. And sometimes things remind us. That's why I always say with my content, with my videos, when you resonate with the things that I say, it's just activating something that you already hold true within yourself, that you already know. And I hope that also builds confidence within you and encourages you and empowers you to remember that you already know what you have to do. You already know your truth. You already know how you deeply feel about this area in your life or this situation. And again, you don't need to know more information, more exterior information. You just need to be reminded of that power, the thing you already have inside. And yeah, it is and then you turn that into action. Ah, yes, here it is. Sometimes your coach doesn't even tell you something new, but reminds you of what you already know and then gets you to do it. So it's like if you want to be your own coach, then you take what you already know, you take the piece of information you take how you should be, whether it's your own creative project, working on your project, how you should be going about it, writing that out. And it's just about doing it and not worrying about, oh, this answer isn't sufficient. I need some other piece of information somewhere else. I need to learn in some other place. Trust how you intuitively feel about it. And that's the most powerful piece of advice that you can get on it. And again, the more that you can do that, the more you can repeat that, the more you build your skill of trusting yourself. And actually the more powerful you become because you don't rely on other things. Behind on the stream, as you mentioned, how artists are able to evoke magic in their work. I feel like we're trying to create that feeling for others in our own work. Yep. The magic, follow the magic. How do you conceptualize antagonists for your movie? I wonder, do I have an antagonist? I don't know if I necessarily have an antagonist. I can think of like one character kind of. Um, if I'm gonna be honest, kind of, it's not based off someone, but it's semi based off of someone in my life. Not that, I have enemies or antagonists in my life, but people who, you know, push me in just unique ways, maybe push someone to grow. Um, Not necessarily in the traditional, like, encouraging way of like, supporting someone. But certain people we're meant to learn lessons from, we're meant to grow from. Um, and you know what? It's actually very similar to what you guys are talking about in the chat about how your characters are just based off of yourself. Your protagonists are based off of yourself. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think the same could very much apply to antagonists in your story, in your script, which just points to the fact that our stories of our art are really just stories about our lives, but transformed into alternative versions of themselves. Presume the things you hate on paper and make that into a villain. Yeah. Also, go CJ, congrats. Yes, CJ, congrats, congrats. I guess some of the philosophy that true art is for helping each other, healing creative art that bombs created that have healed our own wounds and have become scars or helpful insights we've had. Mm-hmm. I resonate with that. I resonate with that a lot. Definitely. As the I mean, that is the power of art, right? Is the if you look at the principles that you need in order to, you know, a lot of the principles that we engage with when we create art is like presence, awareness, right? Like deep reflection on things. And all of those things bring out the truth. That's why art is the truth. Art is what makes us, gives the heartbeat, right? Connects with the heartbeat of the soul. So it is yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Make something really cynical. That's the opposite of you. Maybe combine your flaws. That'll make a great intuitive villain. Yeah, the shadow self. Definitely the shadow self. I mean, the antagonist. Yeah, it's like, that's cool. I'm actually gonna jot that down. Thank you for mentioning that, JDL. I'm gonna jot that down. That's making me think about my own script. Beautiful. Yeah, it's like the things that are your shadow self. That's cool. Your shadow self embodied as a character in the script that makes you protagonist. Yeah. That pushes your protagonist to grow, which is literally what happens in real life, right? Your shadow pushes you to grow because of the dark parts that need to be integrated, not ignored, but integrated. I like that. That's good stuff, JDO. Good morning, Tristan. Good morning. How are you? How are you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. In my movie called Your Name, yes. Creator of this movie really combined the story written and music in such a way that we can feel the scene, what characters are feeling in the movie. Loved it. Oh man, I really want to watch Your Name. That's been on my list for a while. I'm gonna write that down. Your Name. Yeah, I've heard incredible things. Right kind words, AI, and same to you. You should be so proud of your healing and growth. Keep connecting to yourself and creating. Yes, yes, yes. All encouraging. Much love. So much art is mere aesthetic, editing lines, how it looks. And though he was prolific and successful, I don't see the gifts he's left except passing off weird for deep. I know it's not common, in my opinion. I mean, listen, yeah, the art does not resonate with everyone. It's you can't force yourself to like something. People are naturally going to feel inclined towards something. Um, and yeah, there's nothing. We all have our own tastes. We all have our own preferences. Um, and yeah, it's I think David Lynch, again, just speaking for myself, and I'm sure with a lot of other people, it's just hit a certain type of art that is just so reflective of himself. Um, and not every film you really understand. You more so, you feel it. Like a lot of Tarkovsky films, very long, poetic. You're just almost supposed to feel it, almost with like a sixth sense or something. Um, that's the experience that a lot of people have. I feel like that's why I love Nosferatu too, as well. Nosferatu is one of the best films I've ever seen. I think it's still in theaters, but I really just felt that film. I felt it. I felt every moment, and that just proved to me, furthermore, how beautiful and how mystical art is, and how it can be. Defines aesthetics. It's like arguing: does life imitate art? Does art imitate life? Ultimately, art is a soulful expression. If his expressions was in a way that doesn't make sense to you, it's an opportunity to self-reflect and dig deeper in what you feel art is, not an observation of it. Again, check out his interviews or docs. His processes, there's no denying his passion. Yeah, it's I think he's definitely digging into something deep there. Um, we all have our valid ways of seeing and experiencing art, and we're all gonna have our inclinations towards art. And I think that, if someone makes I think the proof is in the pudding of, like, if someone makes a film that's, like, so weird, doesn't seem like it makes any sense, but a lot of people seem to connect with it, there must be something, must be something there that it's just there's some kind of connection, some kind of soul connection, and, yeah. I mean, I also the way I see it is, like, I my own beliefs about the soul and who we are deep down is, like, something so complex and something so of, like, another life form, almost, like, foreign to the human body that, you know, maybe art is tapping into this other language that only the soul recognizes, and that's why some certain movies are just, like, they play out a certain way, and again, you feel it because the soul feels, right? The soul feels. That's the language of the soul, is emotion, feeling, and not always logical. Maybe that piece of art, that combination of sounds and images, um, is something that speaks to the soul, and that's why you only make it through feeling and not really being able to explain it. And that's why the same experience with other viewers, they watch it and it's like you can only just feel it. And I have a feeling that I want to make certain movies like that, movies that really push the boundaries of just like not being traditional with how dialogue works, how characters work, more so just like again like similar to Tarkovsky films or David Lynch films, just certain just like what happens when you just trust where a feeling takes you to inform the story and inform the movement of images. What happens when you just base it on there? Um, whether that fits, certain whether that fits a quota or how movies are usually made, right? And I honestly, I think that's also why 2001: A Space Odyssey, why I love the film so much too, is like the ending to that, the last 20, 30 minutes is I would say even crazier, even weirder than David Lynch movies. It's entirely like whoa, like you're just feeling all of that happening. You're feeling that stuff. That combination of lights and sounds and images. Mm, where was I? Also, Yes, Your Name is a great film. Ghibli films are magical too. Anime has been a great part of my life. I have a Tokyo Ghoul tattoo. Mm, yeah, I want to watch more Ghibli films. Spirited Away, the greatest films. The greatest films. Also was influenced by what Mr. Rogers said in front of Congress about the potential of art in movies and TV, where a story animals, and so all story sells a philosophy, morality. For sure, for sure. Is that is the great role of art. That is what it has done, and that is what it continues to do. That's why we must cultivate our creativity, continue with our creations, and bring that into the world. You just don't know what your art's gonna do. You don't know. That's why I believe you pursue the North Star. You don't know what your art's gonna do, but you tap into that, and yeah, you make what you're meant to make. It carries out its mission. Thinking about making the antagonist philosophical beliefs that I don't have, but as a writer, I should learn in it. Whatever feels right. Whatever feels right for the story. Yeah, certain things to think about. I mean, yeah, it's. I'm definitely gonna reflect on that talk about the antagonist and the shadow self. That's awesome stuff. I like that a lot. I understand where you're coming from. You is valued. One big aspect of art is healing yourself or others. I do enjoy the weird, hard to decipher, absurd, dreamlike too. Yeah. Yes. 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 Agreed. Opinion is that true art is a creative meaning. There's something that can be used for positive creation. Every art holds a philosophy that can be held up to scrutiny. Then there you go. Perfect. The beauty of it is in the eye of the beholder. Yep. In the eye of the beholder. Yeah, exactly. That's why we see things differently, right? That's why we see everything differently. That's why, things will connect with us for certain reasons that we're just not aware of. And yeah, I think that the weird films like David Lynch films have their own part in that as well, in that world of philosophy and um, positive creation. That's why you can't really put a box around art. You just don't know how it's gonna move. You don't know how it's gonna move someone else. You don't know what the impacts of it will have. Um, yeah. It says share Share from your scars, not your wounds. I think the same applies to art. If you share from your wound, you only share your disease. It's interesting. That is interesting. Maybe. I mean, I feel like sometimes in art, though art can be a process of turning a wound into a scar. You know, the again, like the act of creation itself, the act of making something into art, can very much hold that space for therapy and that space for transformation. You may not really understand what you're feeling. You don't know how to heal it, but you could only know how to heal it through turn it into a piece of art, when it's fresh. Um, but I also, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying about, you know, I think this is also why maybe like certain music can maybe be dangerous. Uh, Words are very powerful. They're like spells. And when pain is goes into art and then experienced by others with that same pain, it can be it's a beautiful thing. Can be a beautiful thing. But you can also have the side of it where it's almost like a uh, maybe an unhealthy relationship to the work or an unhealthy relationship. Um, when you're experiencing that work where it's like it's indulgent in some kind of thing that's not really aligned with uh with your highest good. I totally get that. That's the way I also resonate with those words that you say. For me personally, my art is very surreal and abstract, but it makes sense to me. It's highly archetypal, arch, archetypal, symbolic. It's my aim to speak to people's souls versus their intellect. Yeah, that me too. I want to strike the chord within. Interest perspective. I place a lot of emphasis on getting ideas across without using words. Mm. True, I've had this debate for years, and no one is able to tell me what they've personally learned from Lynch that has helped their life. Hmm. I mean, I feel like for me, Eraserhead. I mean, is a very much as a weird one. There's a lot to interpret from that movie. Um, but I think sometimes movies impact you in ways where you're not consciously aware of at the time, but again, because it kind of speaks to the soul. And I think, I believe that we all have souls, and it processes things in ways that the feeling is indicative of the experience, even if it's something isn't able to be logistically explained. But that's why I think that, being able to logistically describe something or explain something is not necessarily, I don't think that's necessary um, to um, for something to be real, I guess, to be something of truth. In fact, I would say that sometimes the most powerful things can't really be put into words. Um, but yeah, I think that it's almost like David Lynch like makes certain films that come from somewhere that he's not able to explain them. He's not able to put them into words. So he's just makes it into a film. He's like, this is the best I can do with what I'm feeling inside. And it's the same thing with the person watching the film where it's like, huh, I also feel that. I can't put that into words. Maybe some things aren't meant to be put into words. Yes, brother, anime movies are really good also for a story that is difficult to make in live action. Yes, Kurt. Art is like a dream for some. It doesn't always have to make sense as long as it reverberates to like souls. This is making me think, In the Blink of an Eye. It's a great book on editing, on film editing. And it talks about that, how like the cinema is like a dream, how like it's very unique in that it cuts like when you have a dream, it cuts like a movie where you're cutting from place to place. And that's why like it taps into that sixth sense, that feeling, that soul feeling, like dreams do, You're out there. For one thing, transcendental meditation, what do you define as legitimate learned information that has helped them? Is an inspiration sufficient? Inspiration is it's the super conscious, the super conscious. Inspiration is a form of super consciousness. That's one of my favorite quotes. I mentioned that in the second vlog. Second vlog, baby. Anime inspires me so much to create. I recommend the Ghibli film Whisper of the Heart. Oh yeah, Whisper of the Heart looks great. For all writers on here on the stream, worth a watch. The main character struggling to write her novel. Ooh, I love that. Meta. I watched 2046, One Car Wise 2046. It's also about an author. I love that. Art about artists. I wrote that down. Whisper of the Heart. Thank you for sharing. Have you seen The Lunchbox? I have not seen The Lunchbox. What is that? Lunchly, Mr. Beast? Going through all the emotions, finally completing it. It's amazing. Ooh, that is beautiful. That sounds awesome. As Only Yesterday is really a killer storytelling. Only Yesterday. I'll write that down. Nice. Nice. I think a lot of filmmakers have learned from his work. He was early postmodernist, aka meaningless of life, which is strangely often presented with a spiritual component. Sound songs have given me catharsis and healing and grief. Never felt like it was a spread of the disease or of grief or sadness or pain. You know, different arts of all forms, they play their part. Jim looks very low, right? Like Citizen Kane or something. Ceilings look very low. Ooh, I'm taking that as a sign. I'm gonna watch Citizen Kane. You know, Citizen Kane. Yes, it is. It is very low. I'm gonna, because I have the Citizen Kane actually sealed in front of my TV, and I've been waiting to watch it. Isn't that weird, right? Film student, filmmaker hasn't watched Citizen Kane. Arrest me now. Take me away, sheriff. Yeah, it was but I gotta watch it. I'm gonna take that as a sign. Also, Citizen Kane was that? Or no, I was thinking of set design. I was thinking of like, yeah, how you do set design and everything. Because that set design for Citizen Kane, I've seen stills. It's very interesting, very fascinating. Studies have shown that sad songs with hope help. Sad songs without hope don't, of course. They're probably outliers, absolutely outliers. Something what resonates is sickness, but vibing with it is unhealthy within ourselves, isn't helpful. Art that calls out sickness and offers alternatives, healing balms helps. Yeah, I mean, again, I would say that, like art can be the form of catharsis, the creation of something that's painful when you haven't yet processed it emotionally can be its own form of therapy, as it has for me, Like sometimes I make art about things that don't make sense to me at the time, but it's through that creation that I learned something about myself. You know, certain holes of pain that I have, I put it into my art, and then it makes it then it starts to make more sense to me. I think that's what we were talking about earlier. About that with Midsummer. I find there are going to be endless contradictions with art observing someone else's art when you strictly apply an analytical eye. Not everything is inherently meant to be dissected and categorized. I had to cut out a lot of music and entertainment once I realized how deep story goes within ourselves as human. Yeah, I mean it's you want to be conscious about the things that you're consuming, pick things that feel right, things that feel aligned, things that feel healthy for you. I also I relate to that. I also cut out a lot of different things, a lot of different like types of movies that I used to like really love. But then I don't know, certain soul transformations and things I have in my own life just kind of took me away from it because it wasn't good for me to consume. Mm, I feel that. I can relate to that. I resonate with that. Opinion, KS, or simply that opinions. As long as that pain, I think my brother's friends are downstairs, right outside the room. I'm in the basement in case you guys hear. As long as that pain is being processed, it's all good. We're healing our terms. What's good for our souls and bodies. Some folks that looks a little wacky and others more put together. Yeah, we're all different with our own different problems, our own different pains, our own different traumas, and I think that's why the art is therapy, right? And it's a beautiful experience that we can have. They're working out. What do you think is willpower unlimited? What do you think is willpower unlimited? Oh, you know what I'd say willpower unlimited is? I will quote the man, the myth, the legend, Tony Robbins. He had a podcast with Chris Williamson recently where he said that you can either push yourself to something or you can be pulled by something. When you push, you're using willpower to go somewhere. When you push, you're trying to extend your willpower. And pushing can only go so far. but pulling, being pulled by something that feels like it's something greater than you, greater than the individual. It's like almost like being of service to something. It's just like a deep rooted belief in something, some kind of mission that is unlimited, that is endless. Because our willpower only has so much. But when you feel and you visualize yourself being pulled by something, I think that's the source of unlimited willpower. Um, and yeah, I really resonated with the way he articulated that. And I think that's beautiful. And it's also what I feel with my own work, because yes, like a certain sense of discipline and willpower is needed, right, to see the work through. But it's when you remember and you line the work and make sure that the work is aligned with like some mission, right, something that you believe in about yourself and about the world, and not just in something superficial or something temporary or something, even if it's just like an intuitive project, a creative project that you're taking on that you don't see yourself having a whole career out of, but you know your pursuit in that project has to be rooted in something that feels true and feels right, and you're not just pursuing it for something that's artificial. um, it's really about, and especially for those longer term goals and ventures and expeditions, it is about being being pulled by something. It's like something's calling to you. That's the way I visualize it. That's the way I kind of see it. I feel it. um but yeah. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream there. What a beautiful, what a beautiful conversations we had. What a beautiful stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And these are important conversations to have about art as well. These are important to have because it's good to learn about ourselves, to learn about other people's views, to diversify how we see, to understand one another, and to understand how we see art and how we experience art, and get closer to ourselves. And ultimately, the more we understand other people, the more we understand other people's experience with art, the more we are informed about ourselves, because it causes, you to look inward in a way. I believe that your relationship with other people is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. And those things go hand in hand. And I think my 2 cents, my thought is that if you're making art that ultimately aligns with your intuition, then you're making the art that you're meant to. And again, it's gonna do the things that it's meant to do in the world. And yeah, there's a lot of healing potential. We talked about that too with protagonists, and learn about ourselves, and learn about who we are, the archetypes within the mind, and characters being based off of that. It's all powerful stuff. And I'm gonna even I copy down a lot of things. I always copy down a bunch of things from the chat after every stream, and I really like the talk that we had about the protagonists, and just feeling like, yeah, like the shadow self and how that finds its way into our characters, into our work. It's fascinating stuff. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I finished my work same time with your wrap up. Ah, beautiful. Wow. Italia. That is beautiful. I'm happy that you were wrapped up with your work. Get some nice rest. You deserve that rest. Get to sleep. And best of luck, everyone, with your projects, with your creative work. Be on the lookout for that next vlog that'll be out. Appreciate all of you and the healthy debates. Appreciate all of you as well. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Stay healthy, Thomas. Thank you so much, Talia. I appreciate that. You as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Be easy with yourself. Enjoy your life. Do something fun for yourself. Be loving to yourself. Convos today were insightful. Made me think. Yes, 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 definitely. As always, God bless. Dream on. Happy weekend to you as well, June. Happy weekend to everyone here. Blessings to all. Much love. God bless. Dream on. And peace out.